Welcome to Koprulu Tabletop Network. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to set up StarCraft TMG inside Tabletop Simulator on Steam, from loading the mod to preparing your first playable board. No rules yet, just setup. Let's get it ready. First things first, you'll need to buy a Tabletop Simulator on Steam, which is available in all regions. After you bought and loaded it in, you need to go to Workshop. There in Search Tabletop Simulator bar, you need to type StarCraft TMG Beta. And here's the main mod that we're going to be needing today. You need to subscribe to it. It's done by my friend Vermilion. And here in the description, you'll see most of the needed information. But what we need to do is to scroll down a bit and to subscribe to the 5 mods that are listed here as well. So the first 3 of those are going to be unit mods, so Terran Units, Protoss Units, and Zerg Units. All you need to do is to click on the links, subscribe, go back, click on the second link, do the same, go back, do the same with the third link with the Zergs, and then you also need to subscribe to the 2 maps that we're currently having in the mod. In the future, we're planning to add much more content and maps to the mod, and at some point they will be implemented in the main mod itself, so it's going to be really easy to load them in. When all the mods are loaded in, it's going to be 6 mods in total. You go back to a library and you start up the game. The first screen you'll see is going to be this one, and if you are joining someone else's game, you click join, find the name of the game, go in. If you are the one who's creating the game, click create, go for multiplayer, do the server name and the password, and create the server. You'll be greeted with this screen. First thing you should do is to click Workshop, and then find the 3 unit mods that you subscribe to. They're going to be named Protoss, Terran, and Zerg. You need to left-click each of them, load, and then you're going to be seeing the units. So on this table, the main controls is with your keyboard, VASD, just a classic up, down, left, right, and the mouse is going to be your mouse. In the unit mods, you'll need to select all of the units present. For example, this is the whole roster for the Protoss that's available right now. You select everything, right-click, and then Save Object. And you can name it Protoss, for example, and click Save. So Protoss race is saved to your Tabletop Simulator. Now you should do the same with the rest of the races, just so you can have an access to every single unit in the game. So you do the same with Terran. Select everything, right-click, Save Object, name Terran, save. And you do the same with the Zerg. Select everything, right-click, Save Object, Zerg. Now it's done, and you're good to go to the main mod, which is called StarCraft TMG Beta. Again, you go to the Games on the top bar, go to Workshop, and left-click StarCraft TMG Beta and load it in. And now you have your main table, the place you're going to be playing the game. You can select either of the players, red or blue players, they're completely equal, and the second person who's going to be your opponent will select the other color. It can be overwhelming a bit initially, but trust me, all things here are for a purpose, so you're going to be really enjoying fast-paced and really interesting game. So let's start from the top. On the top, you have on the left side and on the right side 2 sheets. They're going to be helping you play the game. On the left side, you'll see all of the phases of the game. On the right side, you're going to be seeing the list of all of the keywords that are present in the game right now. Between both those sheets, there are 2 decks with missions. Right now, we implemented the competitive 2000 minerals format and the skirmish 1000 minerals format. Again, each deck contains 5 missions, and they're just a bit different because of a different scale. We recommend you to play in and try in at least the competitive format first, because that's around what the game is balanced. So what you can do with a deck, you can just left-click, drag the cards from it, and read through them and select one of the missions that you're going to be playing with your opponent. All of them have different parameters, scoring conditions, and additional conditions that can end the game earlier or score additional points for either of the players. All missions are interesting, so I suggest you to try them all. Below that part, we have a lot of counters. These things will help you to monitor the victory points for player A, player B, how much supply you have on the board, the battle round, and obviously the supply value that's currently in place. Below that, there is a really, really important and helpful button which calls Save All Models, and it does exactly this. So once you click it, all the models that are spawned in the game are going to be saved, their position is going to be saved. And after you finish the movement, you can just right-click it and load the place, which will bring the model back to its initial position. It's very helpful for all the measurements throughout the game. And then we have a big empty spot where our map is going to be, but we'll get to it a bit later. After that, the table is divided by 2 with 2 equal parts, each for one of the players. And this big thing is basically your dice tray, where you're going to be spawning and throwing and rolling and then deleting the dice. It has a lot of unique options, but really it's super simple to start with. So one of the ways to spawn dice is to just enter the dice with a keyboard, for example here, let's say 6, and click spawn dice. And this amount of dice is going to be spawned. How to roll them? Really easy. There is a special box here, the one that you have to put your dice into to roll them. So you just select the dice here, left click it, they're all going to be moving. And you just place them with your mouse inside the box. And they're going to be rolled. And in a very easy way, to the left of it, you'll see the distribution of the results. It's easy to see it yourself when it's low amount of dice like this, but when you roll like 20 dice, it's going to be much easier to check it here. What's also really, really good about this dice tray is that on the bottom left, there is a special camera that shows you your opponent dice tray. So for example, this is our current roll, and your opponent on the blue side will see it here. So he doesn't have to jump from left to right. It's all in one place. And he can spawn another, like let's say 4 dice, and roll them for any reason. And you'll be able to see them here. Really easy. Once you're done with your roll, you just select all the dice and dump them here into this really pretty trash bin. To the bottom right of the dice tray, there is a selection of tokens that you're going to be using throughout the game. The most important of them is the activation token and the HP counter, because every single model will have an HP counter and every single unit will have an activation token. So how you interact with those things? It's really easy. Token has 2 sides, so to flip it, you need to hover over it with your mouse and click F on your keyboard, which means flip. The counter is also really easy to use. If you hover your mouse on the side of it, on the edge of it, you'll be able to grab it with left click and move around. But if you tap inside the center, with left click it's going to increase the number, and with the right click it's going to decrease the number. This way you can just monitor the amount of HP that a certain unit has. Really easy and really helpful. Helps you to play the game faster. And to the right of this, you have a place for the tactical cards. So the way you interact with this, you just use tactical cards for a faction, you put them there, however amount you have in your roster. And then you again interact with the same way you interact with the token. Just press F and you're going to be turning them over, either by using the ability or by using the card to spawn the resource for a faction. Here to the right, you also have all of the factions, all of the cards, all of the tactical cards, and also all of the unit cards. The last thing is your reserves. This is the place that you can put your army, and it has a very, very important button that's called Zone On or Off. If you click it, you'll see this red thingy hovering above it, and this means that your opponent doesn't see things that are inside. And he has the same thing. Again, if he has anything there, I won't be able to see it, and he can see inside the red thing. So this thing is done, and the last part, you need to load in miniatures and the map. And it's really easy to do. So let's say you play in Protoss, and you saved the Protoss models from the mod that we did a couple of minutes ago. To load them in on the map, on the table, you need to click on the top bar, Objects, Saved Objects, and find here. I have a bunch of things, but you probably just have 3, Protoss, Terran, and Zerg, the one that we saved in the beginning of the video. So you click and you hold, and you basically just drag the thing onto the table, and you release the left click. And this way, the whole units, the whole roster is spawned. You can do the same with Zerg and with Terran. Just be careful with spawning things close to the edge of the table. They can just fly into infinity. So now you have your units, and let me show you how the reserve zone works. So let's say my opponent engages his zone. No, let's show it like this. This is his army, and once he clicks this button, I cannot see it, I cannot see what he has in reserves, what his roster is. It's really helpful, and the same way works for him. And once you have your army spawned in, you can see that we don't have a big variety of units yet in the Tabletop Simulator. So a lot of times you'll need a couple of units of the same miniature. So for example, you want to have like 3 squads of zealots. And the way to spawn them, to copy paste them, is literally the same way you would copy paste anything else on the computer. So you basically select the models you want to copy paste, you click Ctrl C, and then you point with the mouse the position of the units to be pasted, and again, Ctrl V, gonna paste them there. Easy. And you also need a way to distinguish squads between each other, because it's really important for the game. And it's also really easily done. So all you need to do is to just select the squad, right click, and use color tint, and then use whatever color you want. Let's use red for this squad. Let's use green for this squad. And what it does, it paints the edges of the base of the miniature. So even if the models are going to be in between each other, you'll still be able to see which belongs to which squad. Very handy. What else you can do with miniatures? You can obviously left click them and drag them around. If you simultaneously hold tab, you're going to be also measuring, which is really important in this game. So it measures in inches. And for example, like if this is going to be 5 inches. And as I showed before, you can click Save All Models. It's going to be saving every single model that you spawned in the game. And let's say this zealot wants to be here, and then you decide to get him back. It's really hard to find the exact spot. Instead of that, you just right-click the model, and you click Restore Position. And then it's going to be returning back to the place where it was saved. Really easy. And the last thing you need to do is to load in the map and the mission. Right now we only have 2, but it's going to be much more in the future. So the way you load in the map is a bit different to the way you load in miniatures and units. To load in the map, you need to go to Games and Workshop. And then instead of clicking this square, you need to click the options, the 3 dots on the bottom, top right, and Additive Load. This is the option that we need to click. So I'm selecting Breach Marsara map, Additive Load, load in, and it's here. It's beautiful and it's nice. At the top of it, you'll be seeing the layout for the mission. So the red side for the deployment, the blue side for the deployment, and the points. They're all already set on the board and ready to use. So with the miniature spanned and the map set up with players in place, you'll be able to start the game really fast. And after a couple of attempts, it's going to take you no more than a couple of minutes to set up a whole lobby. This was your tactical introduction to StarCraft TMG in Tabletop Simulator. In the next reports, we'll go deeper: faction tactics, advanced positioning, and full battle breakdowns. If this video helped you start playing, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. We're planning to focus entirely on building and growing this community. Have a nice day.